Hi everyone! Bad alcoholic character, what to do? This is the official name of the video. And crappy alcoholic character, what to do? This is our topic today. Part 1. Welcome to AB Lifetime, channel on mental health. I'm Anna Bobikova. Please follow me on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter, and subscribe my channel if you are not subscribed yet. We are not talking about only alcoholics here. We are bringing some symptoms of addiction. My last husband left me because I'm an alcoholic. What kind of problems? I am just sick person. And right now I'm 2 years sober. Listen to yourself. What do you need? Your ex-husband couldn't do that. Your potential husband can't hear you if you are not able to verbalize what you need. I don't like any kind of job. I'm 48, I couldn't find anything what's interesting for me. How I can open up the business in this country? Everything is problem. This president is crappy and everything is just like how it's risky. I want to be a winner. I want to be a successful person. Me 20 years later would be a wonderful person who can help me in this situation. This is 2 parts video. In the first part, we are talking about if you are that person who experiences this bad character, if you are getting affected by that, if you are that person who is experiencing these symptoms and struggling with that. We will see the case, how does it look like, then you can see if it is about you or not, if you have these symptoms or not. In the second part, we will be talking about if you are that person who struggles from the behavior of other person who is alcoholic, if you live with alcoholic or it's your close one. So when you experience something from other person. And we will talk about how do you feel, what symptoms do you experience, and what you can do about that. Do you need changes or not, and if you can make these changes. It's not only about alcohol addiction. It could be any other addiction, include behavioral addictions. I'm just talking, I call it alcoholic behavior or alcoholic here, but it can be just if you watch this and you see that the symptoms, you experience the symptoms, or you see the behavior in your close one, and you see it matches your ideas about your life, so it can be about you. It can be any behavioral addictions, it's subjective evaluation. For example, if you see that your watching pornography is affecting your relationship in your family, then it is about you. Or if you see your computer games already affecting your school study and your sleep and your health, it is about you too. So we are not talking about only alcoholics here. We are bringing some symptoms of addiction, and we are talking about that. I just decided that it's the simplest way for me to use alcohol addiction here because it was already described in all the textbooks, and it is always the best example on the addiction to alcohol. It's the best example to describe any other addictions, but they all are similar. Yes, there are some nuances, but not that large. So on alcohol addiction, we can see the pattern. There is even special term for this type of character, this type of behavior, dry alcoholic. So it is when person actually he doesn't drink, he stopped. But how he acts, it's usually for people around, it's hard to tolerate that. But for this person who did stop drinking, it's hard to tolerate himself too. People say often to him, her, it would be better if you would continue drinking. Case. This is the story of my life. Well, I didn't have a very happy childhood. My dad didn't love me, was not very supportive. And I'm not happy. I'm just not happy from childhood. And you know what? My dad is a wealthy person, so right now he is just trying to give me money to make me happy, but you cannot buy love, right? I was married a couple of times, and you know what? I just found bad people. My last husband left me because I'm an alcoholic. I would never leave somebody who is sick, who is ill. I would never do this. And he didn't want to live with these problems. What kind of problems? I am just sick person. And right now I'm 2 years sober. Nina, my friend Nina, has very good husband. If I would have such a good guy, I would be happy woman. I don't work. Why I would be working? I don't like any kind of job. I couldn't. I'm 48. I couldn't find anything what's interesting for me. But you know what? My dad told me he can sponsor me, give me some money, and I can open up my business. But how I can open up the business in this country when the laws are this? Everything is problem. This president is crappy, and everything is just. Like how it's risky. I know that it's very good to live in Australia, but I live not in Australia, you know. I know it's good to go there. Maybe I need to think about going to Australia and live there. Yeah, anyway, and I feel very, very lonely. I have one friend, and you know, she calls me only when she needs me. And if I call her, she ignores me. She just uses me all the time. I don't want to have such friends. So people are bastards. It's never, you know, how it was 20 years ago, and right now it's a different time. People are different. I remember, oh my God, 20 years ago I had life. I didn't have that much problems with alcohol, and I just would drink a little bit and go party, and that would be fun, and you know. Right now it's like, it's boring. My life is I'm just watching shows. Of course, I tried to do so many things, and I tried all kinds of therapists and mental health people, but all this, you know what? It's like coming to these groups is just joke. Coming to the groups, it's like I'm coming there and I just laugh on them. These therapists, they think that they know everything. They don't know crap about my life. They should, you know, they should go through what I went through. And then talk. I would be very good psychologist. I am psychologist because I am the one who understand things. Case analysis. What do we see? What does Bridget experience? Anger, up to rage. Also, it might be very intense mood swings in the first year of recovery, which is not comfortable feeling for you if you experience that, and for people around. So it is important to address for you. Address like, yes, I accept this. This is normal to experience that in my first year of recovery. It is important to let other people know that that can happen with you. If it's still that intense that it's very hard for you to tolerate that, it's important, of course, to pay attention about for your physical activity, right? If you don't do that, then don't be surprised that you experience very intense down of the wave part. And address to your mental health professionals if it's you cannot tolerate that, and if you see that you are at the risk of relapse. So it needs to be at your responsibility to take care of that, because nobody else can understand what do you experience. Only you can understand and address that. And it's not only about physical activities, it's about the regular stuff. What do you do on the regular basis? What do you do with your mind on the regular basis? How do you address that? What do you do with your spiritual part of you and physical part? And it needs to be, you cannot take care of yourself spiritually once a month, or you cannot run once a month. This doesn't help. This needs to be addressed on the regular basis. Also, we see total life dissatisfaction. We see that she is irritated. If to go deeper, when you come to the store, for example, and you extremely irritated with the salesperson, and when you think about, so what's going on with me? Why I am so irritated with him? What's going on in my life that I feel so irritated and dissatisfied? Usually it's not about salesperson, it's about my life. It's about how dissatisfied I am with my life, what's going on in my life. Because if I would be satisfied with everything what's going on right now in my life, I won't be irritated with this person. I would be happy. Okay, that's all right. A little bit of waiting and a little bit he doesn't wrap something good, or he didn't give me my change. That's okay. I'm happy with my life. So what's in my life irritates me so much? All right, this is what needs to be addressed. What we see in the case, she feels like she is the victim of the circumstances. She is the victim of her parents, of the country, of her ex-husband. Like, she cannot control anything. They were controlling her life, and she she cannot change anything about that. Obvious signs of broken relationship with parents, unfinished business from childhood. If we would be talking with Gestalt therapists, they would say unfinished Gestalt. And we hear from there a lot about father. We even don't hear anything about mother. This needs to be addressed too. What was happening? What's happening right now in Bridget's heart about her mother? What are her relationship in her heart with her mother? Also, signs of depression. I can't say it's depression or not, but obviously she feels depressed. And one of the signs that she feels depressed is she's talking about life in past. Life in past, like I feel good in my past, but I do not feel good right now, and I don't even think about future. This is the little sign of depression. And we don't see any support system there. What to do? In Bridget's case, we see that she is already sober for 2 years. In your situation, it's your subjective opinion. If you know that you use some substances and you see that it's affect your life, or if it's not substances, if it is any behavioral stuff, pornography, games, the 10, getting 10, there are so many addictions right now. If you see that some sort of activities are affecting your life, it's your subjective opinion. So first, what needs to happen, it's not about Bridget's case, about you is focus only on quitting this activity. For the first year, it doesn't matter anything about your character, how crappy it is. It's okay during the first year to have crappy character. First thing is, the most important is to focus on your sobriety, being able to maintain your sobriety. So that's it. In this situation, behavior is secondary. First is quit the substance, quit the behavior. Anger up to rage. I can say specifically about alcohol addiction, alcohol abuse, it is one of the key elements, one of the key emotions which you need to work on. I've never met any person who was abusing alcohol if doesn't have any anger problems. Usually it's very much person is in denial about that and doesn't want to accept, yes, I do have this suppressed anger. So what is important here is first is to release that anger. Usually this anger is already in the level of rage. Why? Because it was suppressed years, but usually it's decades, because usually it is we are going back into childhood, and then from the parents, it's bad to be angry boy, it starts from there. So, and you trained yourself already very good to suppress the anger. Right now the task is to release the anger and to be able to cope with that, and to be able to manage that, and understand that yes, it's okay to experience anger. The question is how to express that in a good way, not to harm yourself, because you're harming yourself when you suppress it, and you're harming other people when you are keeping it, and then you blow up with your anger. Most of times, I would say like this, is a secondary emotion. Anger is covering often fear and sadness. These are two important emotions, and it could cover another emotions, but these are the two most common emotions, right? It can cover another ones. So what's important first? First, accept, yes, I do have anger. First, when you accept this, then you already can do something about that. If you do not accept, if you are in denial and you do not understand that, yes, I am angry, then you cannot do anything about that. Then when you accept this, you already can do something about that. You can work in your way. There are hundreds of techniques how to work and cope with anger and manage that. You can, internet is all full of that. Of course, there need to be involved physical activities. Of course, there need to be involved spiritual activities. But anger is very tabooed emotion in our society. If you think that it's work with anger when you deny that you have anger, or, oh, that's so embarrassing that I was angry, this is not work with anger. Anger needs to be accepted, released, and then we need to move forward to work with the secondary emotions which actually anger was covering. Otherwise, suppressed anger is turning back into addiction. Also in all somatic, all the stomach ulcers or all heart attacks, it's all connected to suppressed anger. Next thing, when anger is already accepted by you and released and worked out, then you face your sadness, usually sadness, fear, and it's important to address those. It's very often difficult and painful, but the tears need to be cried, the loss need to be grieved, and it need to have time to release and to live through all these emotions. And again, the first thing in coping with these emotions is to accept, yes, I do experience grief. For example, I lost my husband 2 years ago. I never cried enough about this, and I do need, for example, 1 year to cry and to be sad and let myself grieve about that. I don't have to dance. I don't have to be happy. I need to accept that. When all these emotions are addressed, and the main thing here, when you inside yourself, you kind of promise yourself, now I am going to pay attention to my needs, to my emotions. When you start to address them, then your general state, your general condition starts transformation. This crappy alcoholic character for some reason start to walk away step by step. You finally start to pay attention to your own needs. That's what's happening. Situation with parents. What do we need to do with that? Of course, this need to be worked out. If your people in the church or somebody else tell, oh, just forgive, or oh, that's not okay to be angry at your parents. If you feel anger, bitterness, this all need to be addressed. How? It's up to you. The best way, what I see, is of course a mental health professional. If you see other ways, spiritual ways, sports, everything, there are the pool of varieties which you can choose from how it needs to be addressed. But just if you feel anger, if you feel bitterness, and your decision is just walk away, turn around and not pay attention to this will not disappear by itself. It needs to be addressed. It needs to be worked out. If there is anger, as we talked, it will stay just as suppressed anger. It doesn't affect your parents. It doesn't affect anybody else other than you. It doesn't affect indirectly because you are all the time, for example, irritated person. But first person who it does affect is you. So this is your first primary interest to work on that. Also, Bridget acts like she is a victim of circumstances, with parents, with her traumatic experience, with her ex-husband, with country, like she cannot do anything about that. I'll do a little role reversal and show you as an example her resourceful figure. Let's imagine that Bridget would say, oh, I think that me 20 years later, sober, 20 years sober, would be very helpful for me, to help me in this situation, not to feel like I'm a victim. I want to be a winner. I want to be a successful person. Me 20 years later would be a wonderful person who can help me in this situation. Okay, I'm Bridget here. Whew. I feel like I'm a victim of circumstances. I just feel sad that in the beginning I just had these parents who didn't take care of me, my dad, and then my ex-husband, the person who's supposed to take care of me and he didn't. The country I live like right now is all the laws, and the president right now is like I don't know what to do with that. Role reversal with Bridget 20 years sober. I'm Bridget 20 years later. I am 20 years sober. So you know how I made it through these years and I'm a very happy person right now. You know how I did it? Actually, you did it. Once you stood so strong for yourself and you made a decision that nobody else other than you can take care of yourself. You are the one who's supposed to take care of yourself. You are 48. Your parents, okay, yes, they were not perfect parents, but they did what they could. You are, at your 48, you are only one who can hear yourself and can take care of yourself. So please do this. And if you do this, you will be me, strong and happy. You are the one. Do you hear yourself? Listen to yourself. What do you need? Your ex-husband couldn't do that. Your potential husband can't hear you if you are not able to verbalize what you need. And to verbalize what you need to hear yourself. And you are on the right path. You start to do these little steps to start to hear yourself, what you need. And you are strong in that. Next moment, which is important to address in Bridget's case, is we see that she is totally unsatisfied with the quality of life, with everything what's happening in her social life, in her personal life, friends, work, country, everything. She doesn't like everything. But what is the main point here? is when she doesn't like everything outside, what's going on inside. She probably is unsatisfied with herself. What doesn't she like? This need to be addressed. What doesn't she like inside? What's going on outside is a great representation for her, what's going on inside. So this need to be addressed. Again, it's up to you. In Bridget's case, it's up to her where she's going to work on that with her mental health professional, or there are massive amount of techniques to work on that. But she is totally not interested in herself. She is not interesting to herself. She cannot have a good time with herself and enjoy time with herself. She's always seeking something outside, for friends, for husband or something. She cannot find there because she cannot find something inside, what's valuable for her and important. One more time, she does show the symptoms. She tells that she's depressed. Usually when people are depressed, they address everything in their past. They tell that it was great there in the past. Usually anxiety is connected to the future. Feel anxious. If I feel anxious, it is the sign that I mentally live in the future. If I feel depressed, it is the sign that I mentally live in the past. Oh, that was wonderful how it was in the past. I had parties, I had life there. Also, what I noticed in the case is the lack of support system. For sure. What is important here to address is support system need to be based on the shared interests. If she feels depressed, if she is in her early recovery, then she need to search for support system between people who have the same interests. For example, people who already have sobriety, longer sobriety, and they can support her in that and can say, yes, I did feel the same like you. Or they were feeling depressed, they would say, yes, Bridget, I did feel depressed, but you can overcome that because I experienced that. And so shared interests, when she can address, like she can match herself, she can connect herself, she can have a little bridge between her and these people. And if she feels depressed, if she is in her recovery, probably her friend whose focus and interests are husband and children and something, it's probably at this moment it's not the best support system for her. Shared interests. If you lose your interest in your life, it's great for you to search for support between those people who already lost the interest and found it. Is the logic clear? This is very important. I would definitely ask Bridget, do you have physical activity? And even though she would say, for example, yes, I do, I would say, how much? So it is crucial in this situation for all people who are sober in early recovery, in any time of recovery. Physical activity is crucial, and if people are not sober, it's crucial too. There is no ways you feel happy without physical activities. Just no ways. This need to be very clear, because your hormonal system would not produce endorphins, and you can watch the videos about how the hormones work. But if you do not have, and it's not once a month, it need to be regular activity. If you didn't have physical activity today, at least 1 hour of cardio, don't be surprised that you feel depressed. And by the way, the combination of hatha yoga and cardio, this is my opinion, is the best combination of physical activities, mostly in recovery. And other thing, it's not just about physical activity, it's about the body. If body is strong, then mind is strong. Then mind can work with problems. If body is not strong, if it's not have the habit to have the difficulties each day, difficulties I mean physical activity, then the mind is weaker. In the next part, we will be talking about you, if you are that person who experience alcoholic close to you. If you are a family member, if that your husband, so we will be talking about what do you feel, what do you experience, and what you can change, what you can do about that. Thank you for watching. See you in next video. Namaste.